Stacy here, 41 years old, mom of four, energy alchemist, wanting to talk about internal boundaries and being raised in narcissistic family systems because boundaries were normally for image, not for the sake of the self. And what I mean by that is, when I was 14 years old, my mom knew that I was on diet pills and she was happy about that. For me, I was never even really fat. I was chubby. I had a food addiction for sure. I went to OA for years. I mean, food addiction is a very real thing. But if I was ever trying to control myself and my weight or my image, it was 100% for you, for your satisfaction, so that I could be seen and stay safe. So I was raised that the image was far more important than the essence. But I'm sitting here today on day 3 of a juice fast. And this is something that my prior life would never have been able to have the interior audacity to claim for myself. I've tried to do juice fasts when my oldest kid, who was 21, he was a baby, and I remember I got through a half a day. I just did not have the interior discipline, and I assume that what I'm going to come to in this vlog is that even that was for somebody else. And the difference between boundaries that are interior, that are in alignment with Christ consciousness, versus boundaries that are interior, that are for the sake of being safe in a three-dimensional matrix with other people. Um, so I'm doing the organic farmer cleanse. I have not drank alcohol since December 31st of 2025. Alcohol is not my drug of choice. It never has been. But I have a lot of identity issues with it, especially with men. And Chris also has that with his father. I drank with my father at a very young age. He drank with his mother at a very young age. So we were kind of having this illusion that, because we weren't sitting, I was sitting in bar stools, like waiting for my dad, like touching the little buttons on those little casino machines. And I was like 5 years old in a smoke infested room, just sitting there by myself in a room full of old men, right? So we're thinking that we're doing it better because we go to local breweries, what have playgrounds and things like that. And I'm not judging drinking whatsoever. Hear me out. I'm just saying that for me, my identity and awareness that I have needed to come to about what drinking actually means for me has been possible in the absence of drinking. But would I have been able 2 years ago even to abstain from drinking alcohol? Nope. Not even close. The thought would have scared me, probably more than the thing itself, right? That's a big thing. We often get more scared about what we have to do than it is actually hard to do the thing itself. So I do want to say that the things that are going to make us most internally feel like ourselves, maybe even most proud, our biggest accomplishments, are going to come without applause. And that is a shocking revelation because, I like jogged further than I ever had. And I was like, oh my God, I did this thing. Nobody saw it. And nobody could stand there and clap for me and be like, oh, good job, you did it. I was always under pressure to perform for other people's applause. And that was something that was instilled in me. What I did for myself was of absolutely no use, right? And my self pride, or my, even as a child, like, oh look, I did this master this thing, was, what do you think you are? How you think you're smart or something? You think you're cool? What do you think you're that cool? Like, it was never met with, you're allowed to extend in that way. So yesterday I was even at an amusement park with my children all day on day two. Day two. Day one's the hardest of a juice fast, I've learned, for myself anyway. Day two of a juice fast, I'm out at an amusement park watching people eat funnel cakes, watching people, eat all these fries, doing all the things that like I would normally do in that situation. And I somehow have become the person that I wanted to be able to be. Can you even imagine becoming the person that you want to be able to be? If you are in a toxic soup of a situation, that is going to make you envious, right? You're going to be like, that's not fair because it's not possible because I'm not that person and I can't be that person. And I'm here to say, yes, you can be that person and you are that person because I'm becoming that person. And it's not like I'm a person who wants to be abstinent. I don't care about that. I want to know who I am in here before I indulge in anything out there that could potentially, and that's relationships, that's alcohol, that's all those things. So in this time of my juice cleanse, I've just been reading the Bible every second that I'm free because it's distracting me from like everybody's eating downstairs, everybody's doing these things. And I'm getting this sense of, I can do this thing that feels really hard. But it has been, I gotta say, this is the first juice cleanse I've ever successfully tried and done. Let me clarify here. This is the third time this year that I have done the Organic Farmers 3-day juice cleanse. So this is not the first time I've done this cleanse. I would not be sitting here telling you to do this if this was the first time I've actually done this cleanse. This is the first time, this is the first cleanse that I ever successfully did that worked. I've tried others in my life and I have not gotten through them for more than a day at a time ever. And even that was a struggle. This is not even a struggle. This by day two, I'm like, oh my God, I'm learning so much about what I can eat and what I like, what my relationship to food is and blah, blah, blah. So this is not the first time I've done this cleanse. This is the third time, but it's the first cleanse that has ever worked. And I only want to bring things to you that actually work, given longevity and the fact that I've used them for a long time. I'm never going to be like, oh, somebody gave me this and let me go promote this thing because that's what it, no, I purchased this on my own. I have investigated this on my own. I have reached out to them to say, hey, I love your product enough to want to share it. Not the first time I've done this juice cleanse, third time I've done this juice cleanse, but first juice cleanse that ever actually worked. And it could be because I am not drinking. I don't know what is possible about this, but organic farmer, this is the protein. I need my protein. Last time I had a seizure, I went in the hospital. I basically already went into cardiac arrest, so maybe I died for a hot minute. That's why my proteins were so low, but I had like absolutely no protein going on in my body. This juice cleanse somehow seems steady and stable. So it's organic farmer. If you're a person who sees people and goes, I want to be a person who could do a juice cleanse, but you know based on your interior biology right now that you can't be that person, organic farmer might help you. But there's also this larger thing that I want to talk about the even desire to be that person, the desire to be able, the desire that pulls me forward and says, that actually is more connected to my soul than this funnel cake right now. The ability to be that person who can say, I can go for 3 days, 3 full days, completely only resonant with Christ consciousness, even in the presence. I mean, yesterday at the amusement park, some guy was like, he thought I butted in line, and he was obviously like an ex-convict who was on his best behavior, not for moral compass reasons, but so there's a little bit of leverage there in my internal psychology because I could tell, like, dude, you flip out here, you're gonna have an issue, and it's not gonna be me that's your issue, right? But I was able to stay, first of all, clean, right? But I was able to stay present to my own alignment. That's what I want to talk about as as succinctly as I possibly can here for you. So I'm in a place where the other day and this is a little bit vulnerable for me to share because I feel like you could look at me and be like, oh, she should easily be able to do this thing. Like I'm the breadwinner. But like I have 4 kids and I started really young and I have a lot of student loans and I did not have family support. Nobody was coming to pay my bills. I've lived on my own, paying a mortgage since I was 25 years old. Nobody has ever paid a bill of mine in my house. I do not have family that was like, hey, let me help you go to college. They filled out the paperwork for my student loans and forced me to go. And now I'm happy that I went, but that was not really my choice to do that. And I am paying for that now. So I want a camper because this summer, my daughter and I, she's neurodivergent. She just turned 10. We went camping. It was the first night ever. I want you to hear me, mothers, right? I have been a woman who breastfed for 10 years of my life, more than that, actually. It was like 11.5 years. I have one 10-year-old child that did not sleep through the entire night until a couple months ago. And when we're out, we went tent camping. It was just me and the 2 little kids because Chris had gigs. And we're sleeping next to a waterfall. She didn't need a story and a song. She slept in the dark. She didn't need a noise machine. And she fell asleep and slept through the night. And I woke up the next day as one of those moms who's like, I started crying. Like it happened. It finally happened. All of this work, all of this effort I've put in, this has happened. So I go, of course, on this, like I need a camper. I need the flexibility of being able to go. right? Just go into the woods, stay there, be there. Mind you, I could take this another way and realize I literally live a 3-minute walk from a trail, right? I have woods that I could go to. I don't need a camper. I can exercise all of my desires right here. But my source is feeling bigger than the space right now. So I found a camper I want, still want it. If you want to buy me a coffee to help us create this dream that I have of, let me pause because I want to take my kids cross country. And this is about manifestation, alignment, and just interior reality that I'm going with. So I don't want to bore you, but I have a dream that I'm now aware of. And all of these years as a single mom, I'd be like, oh, when my kid wants something, it's rough because I struggle to afford it. Or like, shit, it's bringing up this idea that I can't give it to them. And then I feel like a failure. All of these, all of their desires were met with a like, in my system, right? But I have this deep desire, especially now after my estrangement, to take. I've always had this desire, but I've never been able to do it. And my window is closing because my oldest is 21, almost 22. And then there's 19. And then there's my 10 and my 6-year-old. I've always wanted to take my kids to see what I didn't get the experience of, to see the things I never got to see. I want to take everybody in the world out to do that, right? I wanted to take my dad to do it, and I did when I was pregnant with my daughter. I really, for some reason, really, really wanted to see my dad see the redwoods, and we did, and that was a beautiful experience. I'm glad I got to have with him, but I'm not sure that he even, I mean, he hasn't called me or talked to me in 2 years after psychologically kidnapping my daughter and having her live there as a harbored runaway. So that's the father that I have. Even though I would long to share the world and see all of the things with all of the people, I long for this with my children, especially at their age. And my window is closing to be able to do that because I always want to do it with all of my children and while they're young. I know it's a luxury, right? This is a luxury I myself have never gotten. And I want to gift it to myself. So this is the thing that I'm coming to, this awareness of like and we all, this is something I live by and I know, but it has become expansive and reflective for me over the last 3 days, that for me to do that, when I go, oh, I need the time, I need the money, I need all these things, it's like, dude, you don't get to leave this earth with time or money. You get to leave with one thing, and it's how you circulated your time and your money. And my window of circulating in this way when they're young that I want for myself to give to them is closing. So I don't know why I'm crying. I'm also, it's on my moon cycle. So like all of it's coming out. But I have this desire. So I find this camper. And then, of course, they add on all these fees. I'm a novice. I wasn't expecting it. And I'm like, so now I'm waiting and hoping that they come down. But I cleared out this compost pile on the back, whereas it's the only space we have to store a camper. And I'm literally digging 15 years. I'm using an axe. My kids' friends are walking by looking at me like I'm probably the insane mother that they think I am. Um, and and I had 2 teenage boys be like, you need a professional to come out here with a chainsaw. And I'm back there like hacking 15 years of my life. Like the vegetables that we've eaten, the eggs, the flowers that I've been gifted, like they're all back there for 15 years of my life. And I took all that compost from the pile and I put it in the garden, which was like a long situation because there's a fence involved, blah, blah, blah. But I said to my daughter, you know why I'm doing this, right? And she said, because you want to get a camper. I said, yeah, but I'm really doing it to communicate to God that I have space for one now. And my 10-year-old daughter, without skipping a beat, says, well, mommy, God's only responsibility was to give you the thought to have the camper. The rest is up to you. Mind you, I'm sitting there doing the rest of the responsibility, right? But I think even in that interpretation of her word, the rest is up to you. And for me, what I've learned as I've aged, like fine wine, is that that literally means the rest that you have to be in to receive a reality that you want. So many people are chasing something from an egoic space, and they cannot rest until they receive it. But even when they receive it, they're not receiving it, and it doesn't bring them the rest that they assume that it will. So when she says this, I'm like, oh my God, you'll grow up and be like me. People will pay you for that thing that just came out of your mouth, right? So she says, God, it was God's responsibility to give you the thought. The rest is up to you. So this cleanse, I am reading. I just read through like Psalms and Proverbs. And one of these things that stuck out to me, and I want to share this with you because it felt like about alignment and manifestation. There's two things on the same page in Psalms. Um, and what is this? Do you care? I don't know. It's Psalms 119. It says, teach me your demands, help me to understand your orders. Then I will think about your miracles. So I had this thought like, if Haven's right, and my command from Christ itself is the way that I expand and become more true and pure in my now and in my future is to prepare for a desire that I've been gifted the desire the reception of desiring, right? So I'm, doing the preliminary work, loans in place, contacting these people, hitches on, getting everything prepared, but the camper's not here and these people aren't budging. So a lot of my clients have this idea about our work that it's like, ooh, you're gonna you're gonna get what you want. But I work with people who go, oh my God, Stacy, nothing in my life changed, but everything changed. And then they get to a place where they're at that space of purity in their interior and they're like, everything changed. Like, I'm good. I feel aligned. I feel like myself. But then they go, because I'm aligned, I should be able to get whatever I want. Well, that's not reality, right? So the alignment itself is to even feel good in the daydream, right? So I work with people who go, oh, and now I feel delusional that I expect good things and I'm kind of living on the edge and I'm just like being, I feel delusional for not being scared, right? How many of you feel like that? Comment if you know what I'm talking about. I feel delusional for not being scared. I work with people at that space, and the crazy thing is it's the delusion that kept us scared, and that's the programming that we have had allegiance to and that has been literally programmed into us. It is not really a fault of our own, but once you see it you can unprogram it, and then it kind of becomes, if you're going to blame somebody, it's going to have to be the person who still continues the program when you know that you were programmed and you know that it's possible to reprogram if it was possible for you to be programmed in the first place, right? So teach me your demands felt like somebody's like Christ himself saying to me, let me show you what I want from you. Help me understand what to do. I got the hitch. And this is like such a minute manifestation for a lot of you, but like it's humongous for me. I did all the preliminary things. Teach me what to do. And then I will think about your miracles. So it's almost as if Haven said to me, Mommy, God gave you the thought. And this is dangerous, right? Because if it was not a Christ aligned thought and I was going and doing harm to people, it would be dangerous to be sitting here and going, oh, God gave me the thought to do this. But in these kind of interior um, extensions of self, where like, I'm attracted to this thing, I'm attracted to being a person who can have the self-discipline to care about myself enough to want the impurities out so I will not eat for 3 days. I have the self-discipline to trust the commands of, okay, even though the manifestation is not here, do the things that will bring it, but do not rely on the manifestation for my happiness. The goal is the alignment. The manifestation is the byproduct of the alignment. But if you step out of the alignment because the manifestation has not aligned, you are depending almost on a pacifier, right? There's no juice that comes out of a pacifier. So if you think I'm doing this work so I can get what I want, well, this work brings us what we need. And maybe I need to be a person who gets back in the dirt and has belief. And maybe that belief is not made manifest, right? Like I used to hear all the time, don't have friends, they'll just disappoint you. Don't have faith in people, don't depend on people, they'll just disappoint you, right? I, maybe my work is in the belief, not in the reception, which both of those two obviously go hand in hand, right? So then over here it says, everything I see has limits, right? So I could look at this and be like, okay, God, they're not responding back to me. This manifestation isn't real. I'm delusional for even wanting it. Who do I think I am? How dare I even like bring this up to my kids? Because what if this doesn't happen now, right? Everything I see has its limits. But it says after that, but your commands have none. So if I sat back about this, I'm just using this as a metaphor, hopefully for your life or a literal example. If I sat back with this example and thought to myself, everything I see has limits, but your commands have none. Do I want to trust in the fact that I just shoveled out 15 years and probably moved 500 pounds of dirt in a 4-hour period one morning? Like, do I want to trust in my hard labor, in the fulfillment of the demands that I am maybe by alignment being given by Christ? Or do I want to trust in the reality that those commands have no limits to God consciousness? And when I start to do things with the limiting thought, okay, I'm doing this so that I can get this thing, instead of I'm doing this because I'm aligned and this is what my alignment forges me forward with. Do you see the kind of, I don't want to put it in a negative term. Let me just stick to alignment's the goal. Alignment gives you awareness about your next steps. But if you take and exploit that alignment because you think, well, the manifestation isn't here, blah, 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 and you start to lose faith or you start to not believe that the value of the alignment, and everything in the Bible says, pay for wisdom. It is the only thing that is of value basically on this planet. Get the wisdom, hang around wise people, be like wise people. Wise people understand that all of that work I did was a command, and I hope and I have faith in that now when I rest and wait or rest and receive, I will get that thing. But if I rely entirely on my own ego that wants this camper, that goes, okay, God, well, I did my work, now you have to do yours, instead of going, thank you, God, for even putting me into a place of alignment that I would want, that I would feel like I deserved, that I would clear out 15 years of a compost pile and renew my garden with it finally, after doing nothing with it all these years other than contributing to it, finally use it. Thank you, God, for giving me the energy to be in that alignment. If I make my goal the camper instead of my goal the alignment that I would have to be in to receive the camper, I have gone awry, right? And somehow, in some way, doing a juice cleanse feels very similar. It's like I am doing the hard work, ideally to be in reception of Christ conscious wisdom, right? But if I expect something out of that in a material form, I do not understand the laws of what I'm actually doing. And I believe very much that the manifest reality will shift and expand based on what I am doing. But if I have the expectation, I do this so you do something for me, I'm not in alignment. I'm in coercion with Christ. Manifestation, it's interesting when my daughter said that to me, it's like almost because those things would be eradicated in myself as a kid. If I wanted something, I'd be like, oh, all you do is want, you're so ungrateful. Like I'm just starting to want what I am attracted to, what is me. And I'm also just starting to be available to be the person who can be in a space where I can do a 3 day juice cleanse, where I can not take the opinions of these teenage boys who are going, oh, you need a professional and a chainsaw to come in and do that. And I'm out there hacking with an axe and going, okay, I'm going to move this myself. That is me. Those are the accolades that I will never get in life. I'm not asking you for, I'm not telling you this story so that I get praise for this, that make me feel alive. Like I feel connected to Christ. Like the only triangle I'm in right now is the Trinity. And that is a huge difference than the triangulation that I've lived in the patternings of my entire programming and my entire family system. So alignment is first the goal. Alignment will tell you the demands. Alignment will lead you through a world where you can, you know, not eat when, and I'm not saying like, please, like, don't go all like orthorexia on me here. Like, I'm not saying that. I eat funnel cake, I eat fries, right? I'm around a bunch of people eating funnel cake and fries, and I'm so aligned, I don't even notice, right? Because for these 3 days, I know what my demand is. I know what I'm commanded to do here. And it's a want. It's weird because it's not like I'm going, hey, God, like, look, I'm doing this for you. I want this. And Christ is making that possible. I want to be a mother who can take my kids across the country and not go, look what I did for you. I'm doing this for you. No, it is the biggest. It will be when it is, because it will be the biggest gift that I could gift to myself, especially after all of the things I've gone to when I've defaulted to my own mother being the matriarch in my family system that I never really got to be without her constantly in the system with me. That's going to be a gift to me. And this is where A Course in Miracles says, like, any gift you give is really what you receive. The kind of chamber that, or the container that I would be within, that I can feel now. After my daughter left, I couldn't feel the resonance of what I'm feeling now. I can feel how big of a gift spending all that money, going through all of the self-doubt, all of the, I don't know if I'm capable, I don't know if I should, I don't know if it'll be worth it in the end, I'm gonna have to pay for it for years, just like blah, blah. All of that is bullshit because the gift is in the giving. And what I'm giving to is the Christ in me that wants to see me say, I will do that thing that you gave me the thought to think that maybe I could. There's a difference between sitting around going, oh, I think I could, and okay, I will. I'm willing to do that thing, right? So I'm making space for that. But if it is not God's will and God's time, I will not push the agenda, because pushing the agenda would make me out of alignment and it would make me dependent on my own limitations instead of the reality that Christ itself is not limited. And Christ itself has given me these thoughts that like might even seem limiting to you, looking at me like, oh my gosh, can't even manifest a camera. Like, who knows? But I'm going to rely on the Trinity that I am in instead of the triangle of grief and destruction I am used to. And I'm going to stay aligned, and I'm going to love the alignment more than I love the manifestation. And I have no doubt that when I can hold that for long enough, the manifestation will love me inside of the alignment. So please tell me your stories. Does any of this make even sense to you? Um, Point is, hone in. Alignment's the goal. Manifestation is not. Manifestation is secondary, but ironically, manifestation is not even manifestation. Once you get it, it is realization of Christ consciousness. Once you allow in the reception of the manifestation to be with that, which is, that is the realization of self. It is no longer this manifesting, oh, this thing just dropped from the sky and look, I got to pick it up. No, it's like a part of you then, right? That is the realization of the self that creates. And that is finally after years of not seeing a way that I used to see, I can see again. So I hope that I can help you see. Remember, my friends, don't get stuck on the result. Be free in the, I hate to say it in this way because it's so cliche, but in the journey, be free in the way to it. And the result will usually not look like how we think it's going to look, but it will feel better than how we thought it was going to feel. So even when we get stuck on the image of how we think, oh, I'm supposed to have this camper sitting back here, it's supposed to look like this, so I can see it like this. No, I can already feel it. And that currency is as much as somebody could look at me and go, that's delusional. It is a currency that is more valuable to me because I'm sane in that place. I believe in something that is innocent in that place. I am not harping down like a detective of how can I get it? What can I do? Why is this person like this? What's going on? Why am I like this? How can I blah, 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 blah. I'm free to just be me. And I am hopeful that God sees me in that freedom and goes, hey, Stace, because I gave you the thought that you wanted that thing, now I'm going to give you the thing to show you that I'm listening. But it was always God. It was always God. It was never really me. I don't always remember that. My 10-year-old already knows that. So I hope this was helpful. Have a great day. Bye.